Hi, I'm Graham Bullock from Learning Alias. I just want to talk to you about building the body side rear panel and this blend. It's very important to slide the hulls around so that you get hulls where you actually need them. And for example, there's crown on this surface here, and this part of the body surface is flatter. So I've slid using transform CV and hull and then slide and set about 5, and then I've slid this hull, these hulls, up here so that I've got 3 hulls where I actually need them, and then everything else has to comply with that. So you have to do the same with this surface. You have to make the hull distribution similar, very similar to this one, and then you build the freeform blend. And the freeform blend of course has got live history, direct history, so as you if you haven't got a smooth flow like railway lines right through these 3 surfaces, then you'll be able to see it here. Okay, I'm gonna just see if we've got a line. I'm just re-invoking the history here. Right, we've got a line there, and I'm going to have to move the position of influence, and you'll see that the hulls have lined up, and we've got this discord here, which is obviously wrong. So now I'm going to go back to my transform CV. I'm going to pick that hull and I'm going to slide it down, and you see it starts to update, and we get that nice smooth line through there. The next point I want to show you is that I don't want you building your surfaces right up to the tangent point of this blend. So for that we use the I'm going to pick the mesh, and I'm going to apply the curvature evaluation shader just to the mesh. Now you can clearly see where the blend finishes, and it's at the end of that sort of raggedy blue, dark blue. That is where it's safe to put your surface. You do not want your surface any higher than that. Why? Well, because you can't curve this surface sufficiently to accommodate that acceleration, so you've got to keep this surface back from there. So you imagine that this surface here, also this shoulder surface, is going to finish about there. The wider the caudal width is of your blend, the smoother your highlights will appear, because you've given a greater distance for the any conflict between the 2 tangent angles of these 2 parent surfaces to be hidden. And now the next point I want to make is that I build the surface all the way to here. And the reason for that is that if I built the surface to where I really want it, which is in line with this A-pillar, this part would be flying in mid-air, and then I wouldn't be able to move it correctly to get it accurate to the within the mesh tolerance. So I build it to here, and then I pull it back. But before I show you that, let's have a look at deviation map. And you see I've got my deviation map sent to 0.3, which is a very small tolerance, and you see that it fits nicely at that tolerance. Now I'm not sure what's happening here. It might be a defect in the mesh, so be careful when you come to do that. The next thing I want to do then is to use the extend with merge on, and I'm going to go into F6 to do this, and I'm going to pull it back. Right, so here's the A pillar. That's about where I want my surface to be, so I'm going to grab it there and just pull it back. It's now an accurate surface because I aligned it with this surface here. The next job is to build a surface from there. So go to surfaces and get the multi-surface draft tool. Let's build a surface from there. Okay, it's going to build in that direction, and it's going to build at that angle. We want to bring that down actually to the same angle as the attitude of the body side. Length, I'm going to say 150, just take a guess for the moment, it's not very important. And I'm going to build over here. Okay, and there's the surface, and I can probably just shorten it and update. Okay, so there is my surface. Now I actually want it bigger than that eventually, because I want to be able to trim it here, but for the moment I want the surface to be on the mesh there. I don't want it to be flying over this. This is a different angle, so I don't want the surface to be flying over there, because it will make it very difficult for me to maneuver the CVs. And as you see, it's a degree 1 surface, which is no good to me, so I'm going to come over here and change it to degree 5, accept, and then once again I'm going to slide hulls around. Most of the time you want 5 as a setting. Okay, these two here want to move nearer to where all the action is going to take place. As this body side comes along, it's going to accelerate there. Okay, I'm going to pull that away a little bit. As you can see, we've now got the CVs where we want them. Take the extend tool and just bottom of the car, and you don't want it to be any lower. It always wants to be on the mesh, so that's probably okay there. Now if we have a look with the deviation map, okay, there we are. So it's not miles away, you can see that because of this blue here, X, Y, Z, and I'm going to select 50, and then I'm going to change the 50 here to 100. I'm going to select these hulls and very carefully start moving them in. Just turn off the shader, or actually this shader is better, the random color shader. Okay, and you can start to bring these surfaces in until you see the mesh. I'm going to bring out that hull, which will bring that in, you see. So I've moved these hulls in a lot, and you can see now we are much closer to the mesh, and now we need to move some individual CVs. So let's get straight to that. So I'm going to go individual CV, slide 5, and then I'm going to pick that CV, those two, I'm going to move those down. Okay, now individual CVs, X, Y, Z, and probably 100 is what we want, and you can see it's close here because you can see the mesh in the surface. Tweak that, so you get the idea of what's required. Okay, and that will take you some time to do that. So what I'm going to do now is show you the surface that I've got completed. Now I'm working at a mesh tolerance of 0.3, which is very, very tight, and I don't expect you to do that. I expect you to work at 1 millimeter, and then as you get some practice and your skills improve, you can gradually reduce that 1 millimeter till you get down to 0.3, 0.2, and in some places it'll even be 0.1. Right? I'm going to stick with 100, and I select several CVs at a time. Nothing is ever achieved in Alias by moving one CV. Okay, and just move it in, and you see now that things are happening very quickly. Okay, right, just a little bit of tweak there. Go very gently, don't try and do it all in one go. Right, as soon as you get the green right up to the CV, you know you don't need to move that CV anymore. Okay, hope you've enjoyed that, and see you in the next video.